Ram Krishna Hari. We offer our namaskars at the feet of Lord Vitthal and all the Varkari saints. Before we proceed with the Charitra of Sant Muktabai, we need to have a recap of the Titile Abhang, which Muktabai has specially composed for the benefit of mankind, albeit indirectly through Sant Jnaneshwar Mauli. He thus becomes a medium for all of us to understand that we too have, necessarily or unnecessarily, we need to open that door which we have closed to the world, which we have closed to situations or to people around us. If you see in each of the Abhang, Muktabai tells us indirectly, Tati Ughda, that is, open the door. Now here, open the door is not only for receiving things from the world, but even to give things from the world. Because when the door is open, there is always a give and take. If you see, all her Abhangs have got certain key points which we need to keep in mind. If you see the first Abhang, she uses the term Vishwapata Brahmadora, where she talks about the oneness or the Advaita which surrounds all of us. According to her, we all living entities are one, and disturbance to any one of these entities is going to disturb everyone. It's like a huge fabric where there are threads which are interwoven, and if any one thread gets pulled, the entire fabric gets distorted. She also talks about certain qualities that we must have. This is not only to saints that she is addressing. She is asking all of us, because she also reminds us that in the world, people who are wearing saffron robes and the so-called self-proclaimed godmen may not be away from the material snare, though they put up a show of being completely renunciate. They still have somewhere into them a desire for either name or fame, wealth, and so many other things. But she also says that there are people in the world who have ordinary householder clothes, but how within them they are complete renunciates. That is, they have given up all the desire for material life and they are just doing their duty for the sake of living in society. They are not attached to anything. She talks about the qualities of compassion, love, to help one another, to understand each other. These, she says, are the qualities of a true saint. She also tells us not to have qualities, especially the two main qualities which destroy the humanity. One is anger and the other is desire. So she says Kam and Krodh, these are supposed to be completely avoided by us. But she also goes on to explain in one of the Abhang that anger is a natural emotion. One may get angry under certain situations, but that should not be allowed to rest in your heart and create venom or become toxic for us as well as for society. A temporary outburst should never be given a permanent residence, as anger develops slowly into hatred, and then of course comes jealousy and all the other vikar or defects as she calls it. Sant Muktabai is very clear about certain things. She says, we spoil our peace of mind only because of kalpana or imagination. We imagine that someone has said something about us, that person may not have said it, but we imagine that person hates us, and so that imagination is like a seed which grows into a big tree of misunderstanding, and that stops our progress. Now this is not to be applied only into material life, but even in spiritual life. There are certain people who are spiritual seekers, who have attained very high levels, but because of their imagination, that they are something great. That is, people feed their ego, they pump up their ego, and these so-called spiritual seekers feel that they have already become grand masters at it. This can cause a downfall, and that is why she says Kalpana is a upadhi. That means it is supposed to be like an obstacle, or it causes a limitation in your progress. Sant Muktabai also tells about Shuddha Bhav, and as we said in the last Abhang, what is Bhav and what is Shuddha Bhav, and what are the different types of emotions we possess. In all, Sant Muktabai is very firm in her advice to Sant Jnaneshwar Mauli and indirectly to us. She is very precise, she is very clear about what she wants to tell him, and this word which she has used here, where she says Tati Ugda Jnaneshwara, the Tati is the door, she says that can be a block. So when she asks him to open that, she is indirectly even advising us. So we need to follow her advice. It is necessary for us to lock ourselves into a room, not actually a room in the practical sense, but to go within ourselves, just like Mauli did, to introspect and see whether our actions are good, are they beneficial to others, are they beneficial to oneself. We need to have that type of a Simhavalokan. This is a very important word. Simhavalokan is when, as all of us have observed, that when a lion, it walks a few steps, stops, turns back and reviews the situation behind it. In the same way, we also, in our race of life, we keep running, but we don't remember that we sometimes need to stop, turn back and revise our situation, and then come to know what are the reasons for our downfalls or the reasons for our success. If we are able to do this regularly, we can have a totally balanced life. And so, like Jnaneshwar Mauli, the allegorical term Jnaneshwar is a wise one. So we also have got wisdom in us, but we have closed that wisdom, that door of wisdom is closed, and we require someone like Muktabai, who is Adi Shakti, to open that door for us, to gently coax us to open that door for us, so that we have our spiritual upliftment. Sant Muktabai has very firmly and a little caustically come down heavily on those godmen who are fooling people, and so she is warning her brother Jnaneshwar Mauli that if you do not come out and uplift those people who are in the well of ignorance, then it's going to be these self-proclaimed fake godmen who are going to take advantage. So the true saints need to come out into social life, and they need to bring people out of their spiritual slumber. So as they say, when one is a seeker, he should be in solitude, and one who is already mastered, that means the great masters, should come back to public life only to evolve people out of their slumber. Sant Muktabai's Titile Abhang are pearls of wisdom for all of us. Whenever in life we feel that we need to go into a shell, we need to have a sabbatical, then we should go through all these words which she has given us, how to avoid anger, excess greed, lust for things, and how to embrace compassion, love, and understanding among all of us. If this we follow, then I would say the Titile Abhang has its true effect on all of us. Ram Krishna Hari.